This is a Nissan 350Z clutch kit, which can also be used for Infiniti G35. A mechanic installed it and it's been used less than 50 miles. The car had a transmission problem, so he had to take it out and return it back to my customer. And my customer wanted me to take a look at it and if there's any wrong with that. Otherwise, he'll take it back in stock for any future sales or usage. Okay, throwout bearing is it looks good and it says China, and it's no surprise because a lot of clutch kit these days they contain bearings, throwout bearing or the pilot bearings from China, and they're in good quality. And this is a self-centering throwout bearing. What it does is the rotational ring, it moves a little bit around to trace the movement of the transmission shaft. So it's still good bearing. Everything is it looks good. And the disc says Vallejo, and there are 5 damper springs. Each set has 2 springs. It's called the double sprung dampers, and for the heavy duty applications. And for the passenger car applications, it's pretty strong clutch with a 10-inch disc, and they call it maybe stage 1 or 2 clutch for the Nissan 350Z. And damper springs, everything is intact and good. Rivets are fine. All 5 rivets are fine. Spindles are good. Backing plate, there's no crack or damage on it. Looks still good. Splines, there's no smudge or damage on it. They are almost brand new. And the friction surface, the slight press mark, which is normal after you install the clutch, because when you install the clutch you put the pressure plate over it and mount the pressure plate on the flywheel, so the pressure plate itself leaves press mark on the friction. And also it's been used almost 50 miles, but like new condition, still we can still see the logo on it. And there's no chip or damage, and I do not see any grease contamination or burn mark on the friction either, so this is good condition also. And pressure plate, visually they look good also. And there's Vallejo logo, PHC Vallejo, factory number NSC02 HDX, made in Korea. Cover stampings, there's no cracks or damage, hitting mark either. All 3 sets of each flange of the mount holes are good, and 3 pinholes are also good. Diaphragms, they're still strong and they're evenly aligned, and 9 rivets are still good. Inside the cover stamping, there are 3 sets of strap springs, and each spring has I don't know if you can see clearly, I counted 1, 2, 3 sets of springs each set, which is very strong for the passenger car. Usually passenger car has 1 or 2 straps each spring set, but this one has 3, so I'll call it a heavier duty pressure plate. And the pressure plate itself, there's no grease burn mark either. Looks good. Slightly been used, but it's almost brand new. And diaphragms are good inside also. There's no bent, cracks or anything, and all 9 rivets are good, and springs inside, they are also good, and mounting flange, they are even and clean. So pressure plate, disc, throb bearing, they all look good, and there's no damage and severe worn outs. They are pretty much like new condition clutch set. A lot of cases for any reason for not properly working clutch kit is from improper installation, including grease contamination. When mechanic install the clutch, they usually put moly grease inside of the disc splines, and they tend to put excess amount of grease, and those grease eventually contaminates the friction surface and the pressure plate when you turn the engine, and it makes the friction slippery or chattering, and eventually it makes the friction breaks away. So, but this case, it's dry and clean, and there's no problem with the clutch set itself, so they can use it again. Okay. And it's been 04 Nissan 350Z clutch kit.